Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rant and Pray. And today I am joined by the wonderful Mark Reid. Mark is my friend, my seminary friend. And today he's going to tell you more about himself, but Mark has gotten me through 2 pregnancies. That sounds weird. But he fed me in between classes. And today we're going to talk about, so Mark, myself, and Fanon, our other friend, connected over Grey's Anatomy. So we were in this church history class. And during the break, I don't know how, we ended up talking about Grey's Anatomy. And then and that was the beginning of our friendship, right?
Yeah, 5 years ago.
So yeah, we bonded over Grey's Anatomy. And today we want to pay tribute to the wonderful Chadwick Boseman, who passed away on the 28th of August. It's not even a week yet, really.
Yeah.
So we're just going to talk about him, about Black Panther, and just about stuff. So, but to start us off, Mark, tell us about you. Who are you?
Who am I? That's a loaded question. It can go on for ages, or it can just be super short. But I am Mark. I am from the great state of Florida.
Woo!
Even though we're a little crazy in the news right now.
Yes, you are.
I still love it. Florida, on some days I'm proud to be a Floridian. Other days I'm just like, why? But I'm from Florida. My parents are from Jamaica, so I have Jamaican ancestry. Pretty much, even though I was born and raised in Florida, I was raised in a Jamaican household, Jamaican values, went to a Jamaican church. I am the son of a pastor, the youngest brother. I have an older brother, and that's me, right? I am a pastor. I didn't want to be a pastor. I didn't want to follow that footsteps. Had no desire. But life is a funny thing. Things you don't desire, it ends up happening. And I've been pastoring for 2 years now, almost 2 years.
2 years.
Next month is going to make 2 years.
Oh, my goodness.
It feels like forever. It feels like a long time. I feel like a seasoned veteran going through so many things.
With all the lovely church people.
With all the lovely church people. I praise God for Reid, for being a sounding board, a vented board, somebody I can just share my frustrations with and laugh at people with and be annoyed with people with and no judgment. So I really appreciate her friendship, her ministry. I love her family, Tim and Elijah and Ezekiel. I just love them so much.
Oh.
So they are literally one of the best things that happened at seminary for me.
You better know. You better appreciate us.
Of course. Tim more so than you, though. So.
I know, right? Like, let's talk about this, right? Mark is my friend. Like, I lured him in with Grey's Anatomy and other TV shows. And now him and Tim are like besties. Like, what?
It's okay. It's okay. I love you both equally.
And then Mark always takes Tim's side, like always, like literally, like all the time. I'm like, whose friend are you?
Both.
But Tim's, he's trying to keep his only one white friend.
Oh man. I love him.
But Mark, I really love and appreciate you. I actually mentioned you last week on a live I did with my friend Danielle, where we were talking about how for a long time we didn't think we could be friends with men. You know, we were talking about church and sexuality and all of that. And I was just like, wait, I have 2 male friends right now, like really good friends that I talk to regularly all the time. And I just feel so proud of myself that I have these 2 male friends. And like literally, like if I don't talk to Mark once a week, I feel like something is missing in my life. It's true. And then like the last few weeks we didn't talk a lot. And I was just like, where's Mark? I was like to Tim, what happened to Mark? So I'm just grateful to have you in my life, and my kids love you. Like Elijah loves talking to you. Yeah, that's another thing. Every time I'm on the phone to Mark, Elijah's like, Mommy, I want to talk to Uncle Mark. And then they end up talking more than me and Mark. But yeah, so let's talk about the late Chadwick. Yeah, so you start us off because, yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't even know what to say. I'm just like, it's been really sad. And I know you've struggled with this a lot. And that's why I thought you were the best person to bring on and talk about Chadwick.
Where to start? I think for me, the place to start is it's just so random, right? It is just so random. It came out of the blue. It was completely unexpected. For us as the fans, right? I guess for him and his family, they knew this was happening, and they, for 4 years he had been dealing with this and kept it in concealment and kept pushing. But for us as the fans,
yeah,
this was just a shock, right? It wasn't on the list. It wasn't something to prepare yourself for. It wasn't something to expect. It just late Friday night, as I'm getting ready to go to bed, have church the next morning.
Yeah.
The news feed start buzzing on my phone. Chadwick Boseman passes away from cancer. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That can't be, right? Is this a movie?
Yeah.
Right? Like, no, he's a young guy. No, but he was healthy, and he was just in this movie and that movie, and he just did an interview, and he just posted on Instagram, and so random, right? So I think that is, to be the place to start. That's the part where I'm annoyed and frustrated and angry about, so random. Like there was no warning for this. So.
It's true. Yeah. Like when I woke up Saturday morning here and Tim was like, Chadwick Boseman died. And I was just like, and I thought, so, because I was like, maybe I heard him wrong. I was like, who's that? Like, who are you talking about? Because I was like, it can't be him. Like, he was only 43 years old. Like, and in the midst of everything that's going on. And I guess his death has hurt so much because of his work. What I find all his movies have tried, he's been in very serious movies in the sense of they deal with really deep issues, right?
Yeah.
So he's been kind of like a beacon of hope for Black people, and especially with Black Panther, where we saw an all-Black cast on TV for the on in the cinemas for so long, for the first time in like so long, and this kind of. Yeah, like Wakanda is just such a beautiful place, beautiful. It gives you hope in the middle of racism, in the middle of Black America, racist America, a racist world, So him dying, not that we were putting our hopes in him, especially as Christians, but there are people that do give us hope in these difficult times.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Sure. And I think you said it perfect, right? Like, he's not God, right? He's not God. He's not Jesus. I don't pray to him, right? I've never met him a day in my life, but I wish I did, right? I was listening to his interviews and knowing his backstory, just a little bit about it. Really, he seemed like a cool guy, but he was T'Challa, right? He was our hero, our Black Panther, our superhero. He was somebody that looked like me on the TV screen, playing a superhero, right? And he had a relationship with his family, and he was a little awkward. He saw the girl that he liked, he froze, right? Struggling to be a king, living up to his father's footsteps. A relationship with his sister, relationship with mom, right? Just really. That movie was everything. I don't know. It offered hope, like you said. And to find out that, man, here is this beacon of hope that is gone. You feel hopeless, right?
At such a young age, too.
At such a young age. In his prime, right?
I know.
But there was more to come.
Yeah.
There was more to come. Like, his career, he has been very intentional about the roles that he takes, right? He's not trying to be the stereotype, and he's not trying to be the one to reinforce the negative imagery of Black people, particularly Black men.
Yeah.
So he's been very intentional with his work and his studies. He took his craft very serious,
Mm-hmm.
and the responsibility within that, which
Mm-hmm.
is a learning lesson, right? But there was so much more that should have been coming, right? Like a Black Panther 2,
Yeah.
is a MLK movie. I don't know. Maybe him being a real life Black Panther, right?
Mm-hmm.
A Black Panther docuseries or something. There was more. We were expecting more from him, right? There had to be more because he's 43,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he didn't look sick. We didn't know he was sick, and it
Yeah.
wasn't time. It wasn't time.
Right. And like you should have seen me when was it? Maybe 2 months ago when we went to this shop. It's called Home Bargains, and they sell really cheap stuff. And they had a Black Panther toy, right? They had a Black Panther and a Superman. And my son went and took the Black Panther, and he was like, Mommy, you told me about Black Panther. And I teared up, first of all, because I was like, they have Black Panther in this store. Like, I can afford this, first of all. And then second of all, it's Black Panther. And in the middle of that store, Mark, in the middle of the shop, I knelt down beside my son and I told him about the movie, and I told him about his Blackness, and I told him how beautiful we are, and there were people walking past and I was just like, and I was just educating him. And I was like, some people are not going to like you just purely because of the color of your skin. This is a conversation that we have often. But I was like, you are beautiful, you are strong. And, and in the middle of the store, because of this toy, but not just the toy, but it's the movie, it's, what it's done for Black people. And I love that recently there has been a new pride in being Black. Black girls are rocking their hair, dark-skinned people are being featured in films, and, because it's not just about racism, it's colorism as well. But I love what Wakanda did for us, our hair, like the girls, Lupita and Gushira, with their bald heads and, like a real African trait. A lot of African girls rock like no hair and with their strong features. Like, I just love what that movie did. But it's just, he played such an amazing king in that movie, and the ending was so beautiful as well, where he comes back to America to give, and I don't even know what to say. It's just, yeah.
I was reading something on Instagram and it was talking about, why do we take deaths of people we've never met so hard, right? And I never understood it, right? Like when Whitney Houston died, people were crying. I remember I was at Oakwood when that happened. I think it was a Saturday. People were crying. I was just like, okay. Right? When some other Michael Jackson died, people were crying. I didn't get it, right? But I get it now for him, for Chadwick, right? The meme was saying that, or what it was saying on Instagram was that, maybe we resonated with their work, right? And for sure, definitely resonated with Chadwick's work. And it reminds us of our own mortality, right? The homie was 43 and colon cancer, right? And regardless of age, money, status, cancer is no discriminator, right? No respecter of person. It will come for you, whoever you are. And there's no amount of money that can prevent you from having this, right? You can live, you try as hard as you might. We just never know. It can come knocking at your door.
Yeah.
Right. And then it also said it triggers your own feeling. It can remind you of your own trauma and your own grief. And, my dad died randomly and suddenly, like 2 to 3 years ago.
3 years.
May 2017. Out of the blue, right? Just like Chadwick, literally out of the blue. He wasn't sick. He wasn't hospitalized before. It was just the first time, and got a phone call and hopped on a flight and, saying my final goodbyes, and it just random, right? Like, so I think that's that's part of the reason. Those three reasons have triggered within me, right? I resonate deeply with his work.
Mm-hmm.
I am thinking of my own mortality,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking of my father, right?
Yeah.
Just this horrible, tragic, random experience that nobody plans for this.
Yeah.
This isn't how it's supposed to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, just I I had seen Black Panther maybe like
10 times.
10 times in the movie theaters, right? Me and my friend Paige,
I know you went so many
we
times.
rocked it out, man, because it was an experience.
Yeah.
And so when news came out that it was coming, Black Panther 2 was officially confirmed. That's my birthday weekend, like May 8th, 2022. I text the group, and we were already making plans to say, hey, we're all going to meet up to watch this
Wow.
movie.
And you're
right?
all in different parts of America, aren't you?
Like, I'm in Florida, Paige is in Alabama, Hadia is in where? Pennsylvania, Joy's in Atlanta, Eric is he's in California right now.
Wow.
So, right? Yeah, all different parts. But Keisha's
He
in
didn't
New York.
text me. He didn't
right?
text me.
Well, Reid is in Ireland, all right? Okay.
I could have came.
Next time I come to Ireland, I will we'll watch, right? But we were making plans. It was like my birthday weekend. It was Black Panther 2 was this so after the movie, when we first watched it,
Mm-hmm.
it was February. It was a Thursday. After the movie, we took pictures and we went to IHOP. We went to South Bend, which is about 45 minutes from Benton Harbor, where we watched the movie. And we spent like 3-4 hours in IHOP dissecting that movie. Right? We were eating pancakes and having breakfast and dissecting that movie because it meant so much to us.
Yeah.
Right? And here we are in our mid-20s.
Yeah.
We're in our mid-20s. And to see a movie that impacted us so deeply, right? And so to see the loss of the leader, of the character, of the one who brought the franchise to be is really devastating. It's really devastating.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just seems like 2020 is just like taking away every good thing. Like, what did we ever do to you in 2020?
What a terrible year. And, it was supposed to be a great year, the beginning of a new decade, right?
Right. Like, what happened? Like, it's just shocking, like absolutely shocking. But I must say, when I watched his he gave a speech at a university.
Howard University.
Yeah, was it a Howard? Okay. I should pay attention when I. Yes, and he was telling his story about the first role that he got, and how he started asking questions about the character's father and mother, and so he was this kind of bad black guy, and so he wanted to understand the character. So he was like, so where's my father? And the director was like, well, he left you when you were young, and then and where's my mother? And like the director just dismisses and he's just like, well, she's an addict, a heroin addict. And and just from him asking those questions, wanting to understand the character more, and stuff like that, he got a call the next day from his agent, and saying that he couldn't have that job anymore. But that it shows you the kind of person that he was. And you mentioned earlier about his intentionality about the kind of roles he played. And so he wanted to know if he's playing this young black man, what has caused this young black man to be like that. But he also wanted to just, I guess, probably to challenge the system and to challenge the stereotype. And we need more black people like that in general, because when you watch a lot of movies, black people it's just one-sided, one opinion, one stereotype of black people.
And what I love about that, and so I'm probably going to go on a little horse here, my
That's okay.
little
That's okay. I do that all the time.
soapbox, but I attribute that, his intentionality and all of that. I attribute that to his grounding and his studies at Howard University,
Yeah.
right? To a
HBCU.
HBCU.
So, do you want to tell us what HBCUs are? Because
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They are historically Black colleges or universities within the United States. I don't know exactly what year the cutoff year is, but they were originally designed to educate Black folk, Black men and women, because during the time of segregation and Jim Crow and all those wonderful things, Black folks were not being educated. So they usually started off at technical colleges where they learned some type of trade. And over time, it developed to junior colleges, and universities. So we have a plethora of them throughout the United States. And I am a proud product of an HBCU, the illustrious Oakwood University in Huntsville, Alabama. And Oakwood has the distinction of being the only HBCU affiliated with the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Okay.
Right? So we are a private Christian HBCU located in the South, located in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah.
And there's just something about going to an HBCU where you're from the janitor all the way to the president.
Everyone's
they look
Black.
like you.
Yeah.
Right? For the most part, right? Where
well, you had Dr. Sedlacek.
Dr. Sedlacek, he was never one of my professors at Oakwood, but he was at Oakwood for a time.
Oh, yeah.
So you have white people and Hispanic people who are the minority at HBCU, right? The chaplain, the VP for finances, the people serving food, the people making the food, right? It's just Black. It's just beautiful, beautiful Blackness. And it is a place where you are developed and nurtured, and you are affirmed, and you are told that you can be somebody, right? Where all of your professors have their doctorates, right? And they look like you, and they talk like you. They know how to code switch, and there's a lot of diversity within the diaspora, right? So Black people from Florida are different from Black people from California.
Yeah.
Or different from Black folks from Paris.
Yeah.
Or different from people from Jamaica. Or different from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Or different from Black people from Canada.
Yeah.
Right? Like we are. It's just those 4 or 5 years you spend in an HBCU are valuable years, right?
Yeah.
And so I encourage any parent with Black children, send your children to an HBCU.
I know where I'm shipping my kids off to.
Come, Uncle Mark will take care of you. Okay? I'll visit like every other weekend. Okay, maybe not every other weekend, but I'll visit frequently. I would be that person, right? But what I love about it is that there is no Chadwick Boseman without a Felicia Rashad and a Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I love about his story, and the fact that he can acknowledge that and that he knows that. Right. So he was given an experience on one of his talk shows where Felicia Rashad was one of his professors. If you don't know who Felicia Rashad is, she plays the incomparable and everybody's favorite mom, Claire Huxtable from The Cosby Show, right? She is fantastic. We love Felicia Rashad. So she too was also a graduate of Howard. And so she was teaching, back in the department. And that's another thing I love, right? You give back. You learn to give back to what has been given to you. So here's Felicia Rashad giving back to the next generation. And in that generation is Chadwick Boseman. Yeah. And so she encourages her students to go to apply for some theater program overseas in London. And they audition and they get in. But they need money to go. And so Felicia, so before that, right, Chadwick says that they applied, they got in, and they tell Miss Rashad, we can't go, we're not going. And she says, why are you not going? Because we can't afford it. So what she does is she calls up her other famous friends with money and say, hey, we have some students. I need some money so you can sponsor them so they can learn, right? And Denzel Washington, lo and behold, we know Denzel Washington, famous actor, Oscar winner, Glory Days and Training Days and whatever else movies he's in. remember the Titans, right? Love Denzel.
Yeah.
He students to go over to London so they can do the summer intensive over there. And there is no Chadwick Boseman, right? He doesn't get to play Jackie Robinson. He doesn't get to play James Brown. He doesn't get to play T'Challa.
Yeah.
If there isn't a Denzel Washington, if there isn't a Felicia Rashad to say, hey, I see something in you.
Yeah.
I need you to do this. And I'm going to reach out to my support system to help you get to where you need to go. And so I love this sense of community within his story. Yeah. That he can't get to where he's going without other people.
Yeah.
And that's life. We can't get to where we're going without other people.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't get to where I am without my family, without my support. Yeah. Without the people along the way with me. You can't be here where you are without your community. Mm-hmm. Right. And I love that. And I want to be that person that says, man, I need to give back. I want to give back. I see something in you the same way somebody saw something in me. Yeah. Here's your opportunity. Go forward and be great. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And, that for sure is one lesson. I really appreciated Chadwick's story. Yeah. Right. And I love that he had been known this, before. Yeah. Right. So there's also just two things. Another thing that I love about this is that what people had been saying about Chadwick, they were saying it while he was alive. Mm. Right. Talking about his integrity, talking about his charm, his intellect, his professionalism, his gravitas. Like, I love that how they all were able to give him his flowers while he was still alive. Yeah. Like from the fans to his castmates, to the directors that worked with him, to his classmates. I'm just glad people were able to celebrate him while he was able to receive it. Mm. Right. So those are two things I really, in the midst of all of the sadness, I'm grateful that he got to know that he was loved and appreciated. Yeah. And that he was able to share with us that he can't get here without the support of other people. Yeah. Right?
And I wanted to add to that, like his parents, so he wouldn't have gotten where he got to without Denzel and without Felicia and Rashad, but his parents as well, they're still married. They are, a Black couple that's still together, because there's such a stereotype, especially in America, where, apparently all Black people come from single parent homes, but it's not true. There are Black families who are still together, who educate their children, who pour love into their children, and who do so much to raise Black children that are outstanding members of society. And I think we need to give credit for that, and to acknowledge that. And one of the things I did, a podcast with Claudia Allen, she came on a few episodes ago, and she is so grounded, and she was able to say, she's grounded in her Blackness. And I asked her, when did you know you were Black? And she was like, girl, I think the only time I didn't know, it's when I was in the womb. As soon as I came out, her parents did such a good job in grounding her in the love of God, first of all, but also in her Blackness, and letting her know that she's Black. There will be people who don't treat you right, but you don't hate them, but you can work in the system to change. And, and I just love that. I love that, giving credit to those parents who did such a good job and who supported their son on that journey. And they must be absolutely devastated. Yeah, so sad. But let's talk about young, gifted, and Black. Yeah, young, gifted, and Black. I'm going to start saying that about myself. You say that all the time about yourself. No, he doesn't. He's mentioned it once or twice. But yeah, so he got an award, and Black Panther, was it Black Panther that got the award? Yeah. And he's given his speech, and he's talking about being young, gifted, and Black. And he was talking about how, what it was like for them to go to work every day on an all Black cast, movie. And because in the past they've always kind of been told they were not good enough, they were not this, they were not that. And he said that they carried, and so he was saying that they always knew they were young, gifted, and Black, but the world hadn't recognized it. So they carried the burden of being young, gifted, and Black to Black Panther every time they were recording. And I was just like, wow. Sorry. Yeah.
Just right, like Nina Simone, her song. That song is it's a long song, number one, but it's a powerful song, Young, Gifted, and Black.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I heard that song was after Chadwick's speech, right?
Yeah.
I looked it up and I was like, man, this is a really good song and really empowering, right? And this notion of being young and gifted and Black and not being recognized,
Mm-hmm.
not being seen, right? You can graduate from wherever, you can have looked the part, you can know the part, and still not be seen, right? And not just in Chadwick's life or the Black Panther cast life, but we see it with Kerry Washington, we see it with Viola Davis, we see it even with Denzel Washington,
Mm-hmm.
we see it with Fannie Lou Hamer. We just see it all throughout, right? All throughout different people's lives, actors' lives, entertainers' lives, our lives,
Yeah.
our friends' lives, our colleagues' lives. We know, right, what it is to be young and gifted and Black, to be young, to be under the age of 50 is young, to be gifted. And it is not saying, "Ooh, look at me," but sometimes you just got to know what you know, right? Like, I'm equipped. This is what I'm equipped in. This is what I'm good at. This is my skill set. I'm not trying to brag on you, but this is just who I am. This is what I've been blessed with, right? And then, of course, our Black skin can't hide. You can't unsee it. But it's like you can't unsee, but you don't see it.
Yeah. Right?
And so we know what it is to be young, gifted, and Black. And I think that's also another reason why this movie is just so resonated, right? That the level of commitment every cast member took with that movie was really felt and seen, right? And I remember I'm reading one of these things, I think between Chadwick and Ryan Coogler, the director for Black Panther, they were talking about how I think Chadwick would come and visit Ryan and tell him, we may not get another opportunity like this. Let's give it our all. Let's give it our best. Let's make this the best movie possible that we can, because who knows when something like this will come around again. So I think they understood the moment that they had. They understood the seriousness of it, and they didn't fumble the ball. They didn't drop it. And it resonates not just with Black people, but with people throughout the world, right? This movie was able to show that Black people can bring in money.
And they did.
Can reach Asian audiences and European audiences and Australian audiences and white audiences. It can reach, Black folks can reach people. We can reach people and we can bring money, and our story is powerful enough and big enough to bring in other people as well. So they couldn't have chosen a better leader in Chadwick. And so again, go back to where we were at the beginning. His loss just hits so hard because here is the leader, the one that everybody is looking to, that has gone, that has died, and it's like, wow. It's sad.
I wonder, it's hard, to have funerals this year with COVID. My stepdad passed away there in May, and we were only allowed like 10 people at the funeral. And I know the situation in America isn't great right now with COVID. So like, you want it to be a big funeral, you want to honor him, you just wonder how they're going to work through all that. However, Americans are rule breakers. So they might just be like, hey. But I just hope that he will get a proper send-off. And I love that he married his girlfriend. He made an honest woman out of her, even though he knew he was going to die. I think that's really, really powerful, because it also means that not to sound money centered, but she gets some of his money as well, and I think it's nice that he thought about that as well, about her in that way.
What I love about that whole thing is two things. One, this man is a trooper, right? This man had been diagnosed with cancer from 2016.
Yeah.
And so he has made, like, I think they said about 7 movies while he's battling cancer, right? So this man is a trooper.
Yeah.
Which is like, dude, I'm not going through cancer, so there's things I can accomplish. And I'm not battling any cancer, so there's some things I can accomplish.
Yeah.
And he didn't seek a pity party. He didn't make excuses.
Right.
None of that. And I love that he kept some things private, right? That there were some, that he had a strong enough team around him that only the people that needed to know knew that they were trustworthy people.
Right. We need people like that.
We need people like that. People who are not going to say, don't tell anybody, right? Or I'm telling you this, but
you're on the church board, do you hear things?
Right? It's like we need people who can who can hold something to the chest and not reveal it, not let it slip, wear a strong poker face, not right. Like they are not going to betray your confidence. So he had a good team around him.
Yeah.
And he didn't seek a pity party, right? And I think part of me, right, I would want to do the same thing, because judge me off of my work, not off of my situation, right? I don't want you to give me a review considering he had cancer, XYZ. No, give me a review on me, on my work, on what I've done. Don't let the cancer be a factor.
Yeah.
Right? Don't let it sway your opinions or your mind. Here's what I presented to you. Do you like it or do you not like it?
Yeah. That's amazing.
Right? So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what's the second thing you loved about it?
It was those two things, that the confidentiality, and that he kept pushing in spite of cancer, and that he had a team around him that he could trust and keep those things close to their chest, and not seek pity.
Yeah. But that had nothing to do with the marriage. What?
I wasn't connected to the marriage.
I thought it was connected to the marriage.
It was like a tangent to the marriage.
Like typical, okay.
But I am glad he married her. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you say he know that he was gonna die, but did he know he was gonna die?
Well, he was gonna in the final.
They got married 2019, right? They got married 2019.
That was last year.
Last year,
but he knew he didn't have long to live because he was in the last stages. He was diagnosed with stage 3 when it was diagnosed.
Yeah, stage 3 is beatable.
Not always. I think they always tell you that there's a really high chance.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought to me, stage 3 is like, okay, we can fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's it didn't progress to stage 4 until early this year, 2020.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Did he know he was going to die? I don't think.
I don't know. I'm not saying he only married her because he was going to die.
Right. No, I get you.
But he knew he was like, I think most people, and from my previous experiences, when I worked in the medical field, when they say stage 3, it's pretty serious. Like, a lot of people are not able to fight it. But I think it's amazing that he lived, 4 years fighting and busy as well. And I love that. But anyway, it sounds like I'm saying he married her because he knew he was dying. He didn't. I know he loved her. I'm sure he loved her. I shouldn't say I know because I don't know him personally. This is terrible. I'm just digging a hole here. But he was a great man, a great Black man. And he's a great loss to the Black community. And it just goes to show the power there is in creativity, first of all, the power there is in using your gift. to touch the world, because, he could have picked movies that showed him as a player or as just, whatever, but he picked movies that would empower Black people and the world. And I think that's so important. So for you and me, and for me in my life, when I sing, when I preach, when I do whatever I'm going to do, I need to make sure that it impacts the world for Jesus, obviously, because I'm a Jesus girl, but also for Black people, for my people, and for Black women as well, who tend to be discriminated from all sides. So that's where I am. That's what I've learned from his life and death, that whatever I do, I need to do it, not just for me, not just to get money, but to impact the world. To make the world a better place. Like, my children are going to grow up thinking the Black Panther is normal. Like, it's, the Black people were always on the screen. Like, like what? Yeah. So.
To that same credit, right? In that same speech you referenced earlier at Howard, towards the end of it, he was talking about purpose, right? Got to know your purpose.
Yeah.
That use your gift and connect it to your purpose, and it can have an impact on those around you.
Yeah.
So that's what he did. He used his gift, his gift of theater, his gift of acting, all of that to connect to his purpose of reaching people, uplifting people, affirming people, telling stories, right? He was a storyteller.
Yeah.
That was his gift, and that was his purpose.
Yeah.
Right? We need storytellers in the village, in the community.
Right.
We need griots, right? We need people to recount our history and paint the picture for us. Connected to purpose. And if there's anything about his life that I think impacts me, is using my gift and connecting that to my purpose.
Yeah.
Right? And once those two are in alignment, it can have major impacts.
Yeah.
Right. And he didn't waver from it.
Yeah.
Right. His purpose. He didn't waver from it. Like that same example with the soap opera. Right. When he was asking all those questions, it was for a soap opera.
Yeah.
Right. Who does that for a soap opera? It's a soap opera. They're cheesy.
They're terrible.
They're corny. They're tacky, right? It's just to get you a foot in the door.
Yeah.
Start making you some quick money. It's a soap opera.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to win any major money or any major, awards for this. It's a soap opera. To ask those levels of questions so early in his career, right? Grounded, rooted. Connected his gift with his purpose.
Yeah.
Right. And look where it led him from that soap opera to being T'Challa.
Yeah.
Right. To he has 2 new movies coming out, or one already came out on Netflix, I think back in January, which I need to watch, Five Bloods. And then there's another one, Ma Rainey, a play, an August Wilson play, which I'm excited to see when that comes out.
Yeah, no.
Also on Netflix. So.
Yeah. So I often talk about, because it only hit me last year, identity, perspective, purpose. And, here was a Black man who knew his identity, and because of that, he could see what his purpose was. And then he used his purpose to help other people find their identity. And I just love that. So, like, he didn't just use it for himself. It was like to help other Black people be like, listen, we are kings and queens. We are royalty. We are, all of that, because he knew who he was, and it had changed the way he viewed his life and his purpose. Like, so for me, that's my thing, right? And like, now I'm just like identity, because a lot of Black people's problem is that we don't know who we are, regardless of where you are in the world. You don't know who you are because you've been exploited, you've been abused, you've been misused, you've been whatever. And as a result, you're living in PTSD mode, in trauma. You don't know who you are, and you just overreact, you overbuy, you overspend, you overdo whatever, because you don't know who you are. So if we have Black people who find healing and find purpose, identity, and then their purpose, then we can help each other. And people love to talk about Black on Black crime. Let's let them talk about Black on Black helping, or Black on Black, uplifting, like Denzel and Felicia Rashad did. So I could talk all night because I never stop talking, but I'm aware that our hour is up, and it's been such a pleasure to have you, Mark.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I often ask 2 questions towards the end. What would you say to white people? I know this was not really like a racial conversation, but I often ask, what would you say to white people and what would you say to Black people? And then I'm going to end in prayer.
Okay. Well, what I say to white people? See me for who I am, and see me and us for the totality of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You are capable of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You are capable of seeing me and Black folk for the totality of who we are. Not just our flaws, but our greatness. Not just our weaknesses, but our strength. Mm-hmm. Not just our faults, but our heights. Right? You have capacity to see us in all of our totality. In the same way you see yourselves in totality, see me, see my friends, my family, see all of us in totality as well. Right? I believe you have agency and capacity to do that. So do it. And what I would say to Black people, man, what wouldn't I say to Black people? But I love us. Right? I love us. I love our resiliency. I love our sense of community. I love the way we laugh, the way we cook, the way we dance. I love us, right? And I would just say, hey, Black boy, Black girl, Black man, Black woman, you are the image of God, right? And don't forget that. That's what I would want to say, right? Don't forget that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mark always makes me cry.
Oh, jeez. Oh, please don't.
She's like, I am not gonna cry. Honestly, if I ever do a video or live or anything without ever crying, like I should get a medal. But that was so beautiful, and it's true. Yeah. It is so true. Let's pray. God, of our weary years, we just want to thank you. We thank you for the life of Chadwick Boseman. We thank you that he lived out his purpose because he knew who he was. And I think sometimes as Christians, we want to think that somebody living out their purpose, they must be preaching and, doing churchy things, but people can live out their purpose on a large screen like he did. And yet he impacted thousands and thousands of lives and millions of lives. And we thank you for his life. We thank you for his family. We thank you for his parents who grounded him, and also for Felicia Rashad and Denzel Washington who supported him, and for other people that supported him along the way, for the whole Black Panther cast. We thank you for that. And we just pray for peace and comfort for every single person that knew him, and even for those who didn't know him, who have been triggered by this, especially in this to what feels like awful year 2020. God, we just ask for healing, for peace, just for comfort that comes from above, for everyone that knew him. And we thank you for this conversation, and we just pray blessing on everyone that's listening, in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.